Do you know what comes to mind? There's a section where you mentioned, watch. I had to cut myself out. This jump just
we're
didn't...
bringing that up for
sure. But the reason I think it's quite fitting is you're talking about Finn, 24, fighting for wins, Chaos transitioning. He's kind of the new free rider.
Yeah,
Him and Cade, it's like
yeah.
they raced at a high level, but they just couldn't keep focused on racing. And they got this itch. They're kind of like the next generation. And to me, it's the last section. It's fitting that you sort of hand the baton over. Maybe they do a film one day, maybe not.
Hopefully, yeah.
And they're doing these cool edits, and you have to respect it, right? Even though you're like, oh, I want to keep doing it. One day you're not going to do crazy stuff like you still do. And you're having to cut yourself out of this one scene because you just didn't gel with a jump. And that happens. The best riders in the world just are not comfortable on a certain angle jump.
Yeah.
But they are. And they're the next gen, and that's the last section. It's almost like, okay, maybe it is time to just go, you know what, mic drop, there it is.
And I do think
over to you boys now.
I was only just hanging on by the skin of my teeth the whole way through the movie, like
with some of these riders.
Yeah. Yes, Madeira, for example, last Madeira, Amory in South Africa. Obviously, he's top of his game, how fast he was going, and this, that, and the other. But yeah, there was a jump in Madeira where luckily we built 3 tracks in Madeira for that section, and we each took turns leading it, and we swapped the who was leading. Luckily, I was at the back on this particular section. There was a jump I couldn't jump. I could jump it, obviously. I looked so awful over it.
But this is not a big jump. It's just
it's not a big jump.
It was tiny.
A little step down hip. And I just got into a bad muscle memory, and I looked at videos, and it's funny because I'm in such a good relationship with Clay and Seeger. They're brutally honest, so they were just like, "Dude, you're right." And I was like,
"Do you want to shoot it again?" You're like, "I don't. It's not going to get better."
I was like, "Not really. I can't do that jump." I was getting so stiff and like. I was doing the most horrible stees ever, and it's probably like I haven't felt that bad in a long time, and I was riding quite well.
No, the rest is like.
And then
fine.
Then this one jump, I was so bad. Luckily, like I said, I was at the back of the pack, so in all the edits which you'll see now, it's like some like Finn cranking this big old whip like scrub. Chaos second, he was up there, had big scrub leg dangler. Then I was sort of at the back, like Steve Peating it,
you just see Brent's front wheel try to come in frame, and then it's done.
Then luckily,
so only because we tell you, but I think it's
people
funny.
know it now. But luckily, like I said again, I was at the back, so I could just be cut out of the shot. So those 2 crank sick whips, and then I'm at the back. Like, as my front wheel comes into shot, cut.
Hey man, everyone has to eat some humble pie in life, and sometimes you just got to eat it.
It put me on a bit, not down. It put me on a bit of a low for about an hour after. I was like, oh shit, maybe it's time, bloody blah. But then we did another jump, and I was back to
That's
normal.
So funny that a tiny, annoying little weird angle.
Oh yeah, it
jump.
put me on a low for a good couple of hours,
funny,
and I was like, confidence down, thinking, oh, you know, but yeah, it's interesting stuff like that. But throughout the whole movie, there were ups and downs, and you have to understand that we went to 8 different locations and rode with 13 different other athletes of skill, all of the best athletes in the world in different locations. And often what we do is try to match the athlete with the location, like their skill level or their riding style or this and the other. So trying to adapt to 13 different styles and 8 different locations was hard, and I wasn't always the coolest or the best rider, but part of it for me in this movie was, as long as there's a section or a part of a section that someone could be like, oh, Finn did this sick thing, or Marine did that rad whip, or Valley did that nose bonk or whatever, for me, it's super about, it didn't have to be me in the section.
So you didn't make another movie about yourself?
No.
It was the first one you did?
Nah.
A little bit.